that going? Are we?
Chris said start again.
Okay. It's because that's the last thing on the prompter it says. Deposit your checks, clear out your office, then give yourself a vote of no confidence. We are live from the deep, dark depths of the UEA library. Welcome to the Norwich University show with me, James Blond. Coming up on tonight's show, we'll be getting the inside scoop into the current cost of living crisis. We'll be asking you guys at home who you think should replace the Vice-Chancellor. Plus, we'll be joined by student James for an inclusive interview about his involvement within the strikes. He will join us later to help us create our very own picket signs live in the studio. Hello and good evening and welcome to the Norwich University show, the show that brings you the most topical debates and investigative journalism from the Eastern Norwich area. With me in the studio, as always, is our very own roving reporter Patrick, who until recently thought a strike was something you achieved whilst bowling. He'll be asking a very important question to the people of UEA.
Yes, and thank you, James. Later on, I'll be heading onto campus to discuss how the cost of living crisis has been affecting university students. How are you doing today, James?
I'm doing very good. I've got my best suit on for this occasion. How are you doing today?
I've also got my best clothes on. This is actually very expensive.
You're looking very dapper. I mean, expensive. How's the cost of living crisis been affecting you?
It's not been great, honestly. It hasn't been very good. I just haven't been able to go gamble.
Oh,
Gamble all my money away,
Yeah.
like I love doing.
Yeah.
I love gambling.
That is true. I mean, you know what they say? If you fail once, try again.
Yeah. Do you know that 99% of gamblers actually quit before they earn a gazillion dollars?
Yeah.
So
That is
fun,
great topical
fun statistic
news.
for you there.
Great topical statistics for our show about politics. But as always, we want to hear from you. So tweet to us at our username @UEANUS. This week, we would like to know who you, the viewer, thinks the new Vice-Chancellor should be. Use our hashtag UEANUS new V-Chancellor. Right, let's get into the biggest stories of the last couple of weeks, the strikes. They've always threatened the lives of UEA students, but since Christmas, this threat has become all too real, as staff has finally taken action against the university. But fortunately, the strikes have been suspended over the last few weeks after significant progress was made due to talks between the university and the UCU. We at UEANUS hope that a fair agreement can be made to support both the staff and the students. In other news, UEA announces its plans to combat the £45 million budget deficit, which was met with criticism from the student body when it became clear that student feedback would not be considered in the university's plan. Students plan to rally to oppose the cuts to student services and compulsory redundancies in an aim to ensure that the quality of education at UEA is not compromised. The lecturers and staff are the lifeblood behind UEA, and it can be said all of the students here are grateful for the staff's hard work. We wouldn't even be able to make this show without them. But now over to our roving reporter Patrick, who is out and about discussing the cost of living crisis.
Here I am today on UEA campus in the Blackdale building, the most decrepit and horrible building on this campus. Ever since the COVID-19 pandemic, our country as a whole and the university have been struggling with money. As you can see here, the value of money has decreased over time, making things very difficult for the staff and students alike. The cost of living crisis has affected everyone, including me and you. For instance, last year, my shopping costed £5 less than it does now, which is £5 I would spend betting on horses. Energy prices have risen tenfold, which is why, to keep myself warm during the cold, harsh winters here in Norwich, I've started doing this. UEA has appointed David Maguire as the new Vice-Chancellor. Hopefully, he can pull us out of the money pit that we have fallen into. Otherwise, it might be the end of UEANUS as we know it. Back to James in the studio.
It's remarkable to see how the cost of living crisis has been affecting the students. The conversations like this need to be had in order to create change to support those who need it most. But now, let's welcome tonight's guest. He is a student who is vehemently for the strikes, and he's been out on the picket line actively trying to ensure the student voice is heard. Please welcome to the show, James.
It's a pleasure to be here, Mr. Bond, honestly.
Well, it's lovely having you here. It's lovely to have to be able to speak to someone who has been out there on the front lines. How's it been going for you, striking for the university? Or against the university, obviously.
Honestly, I just feel so good about it. I mean, seeing everyone out there, so many people together to support a good cause. There's nothing better than that.
It's perfect. Yeah, it must be a great like feeling to have all the people around you, team morale. Everyone's out there like early in the morning, in the cold, in the rain, just being able to try and get their voice heard, get essentially their point across to the university.
Yeah, it's honestly what I get up every day to do.
Yeah.
I just love it so much. Whatever we're striking, I'm there.
Yeah. So what the UCU want, they want compulsory redundancies to be scrapped. They want they want to be able to have more money essentially. They want to be able to be basically compensated for the work they put in. Is that what you're there to support?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been out there for a long time now, a few weeks, and I think we are getting places.
It's good, yeah. It's good that progress is being made, and it must feel good for you to be able to be there, to say you were part of it, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I was one of the first. I'm always the first to be there and the last to leave. That's how I like to look at it.
Yeah, just like me in bed.
Exactly.
So essentially, with the strikes, there's not just the UCU. You've been there with the rail strikes. You've been there with the RMT, the rail unions.
I have indeed. It's very important to me to get to all these protests and strikes, and I think that, you know, the rails they just help me so much. So there's something I'm very, very in favour of.
Well, thank you very much, James, for coming in today to discuss your point of view on the strikes. He'll be sticking around in the studio to show us how to make our very own picket sign later on. However, first, Patrick has a report to share.
Thank you again, James. Recently now, the Vice-Chancellor of UEA, David Richardson, has announced his resignation and his intent to step down from his role that pays him over £200,000 a year, following the release of his expense report which exposed the unnecessary expenses he had claimed. He'd been reported having used the students' money on travelling to Hong Kong, riding in limousines and maintaining the grounds of his house. I mean, who spends £20,000 on gardening, you know? His expenses were as weak as the Greek economy. The university announced a temporary vice-chancellor, with David Maguire joining later this month. But let's see who you guys, the students of UEA, think can step into his gigantic and expense-ridden shoes.
I think Jeremy Clarkson should replace the Vice Chancellor.
Does it have to be like a serious answer? Okay, can I just say like Sylvester? Oh my gosh. Harry Styles.
Oh God. Gemma Collins. Harry Styles. He's my answer to everything.
I'm gonna go with Taylor Swift, the Queen herself.
Beyonce. I don't know, just feel like he's a fun guy.
I would say Lewis Capaldi, because I think he's quite funny, comedian.
Sylvester. I don't know. I don't know anyone intellectual. Someone with a lot of personality like Gemma Collins, I would love. I would choose David Attenborough.
I think he's quite a likeable character, unlike Vice Chancellor, so I think he'd be a good fit.
Political yet educationally inclined.
It could be a celebrity or a fictional character or anyone.
Yeah. Can I speak right into the mic for a good ASMR moment? Do you want that?
If you want to, yeah.
I'm gonna vote for Meryl Streep. Actually, sorry. No, I'm not. I'm going to answer the Onceler from the Lorax. It's not because I've got a crush on him. Perfect. Great.
Many students and staff, I'm sure, will be celebrating this news. Most are hoping that this will be a step towards improvements for both staff and students alike, as there are now a couple £100,000 floating about which could be used to pay the staff a living wage, rather than supporting students or helping a man trim his bush. That was remarkably interesting to say the least. I can't believe that Harry Styles was one of the choices. There's only one direction that could go, and that is down. But it's time to see what you guys at home have to say about who to replace the Vice-Chancellor with. At Not David Richardson says that he thinks the big man shouldn't have stepped down and that he was doing a perfect job. Whereas at Sylvester the Cat says, meow, 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 meow. I can't believe this is my degree. But for tonight's final segment, our guest here is joining us to help us make a proper big picket sign. So do you want to follow me over to the make table, James?
Of course.
So we have some equipment here, equipment you've lined out you wanted us to bring.
Indeed. Cardboard is a very good starting point because it's, you know, everyone has cardboard lying around.
It's versatile, yeah. I mean, everyone gets deliveries in. It's perfect. Is there any other equipment other than cardboard you would tend to use?
Well, if you are out there all the time like me, you can upgrade to like some like polyester plastic stuff, some
Like a whiteboard,
yeah,
chalkboard.
whiteboard, Yeah, anything which is light
Board.
and durable and
Yeah.
whatever.
So how would you write? Would you write as big as possible, as big as you can see?
Well, you don't want too many words.
Yeah.
Because you want to get your point across. You don't want people to have to be looking at it and reading a lot of information.
Yeah.
So
So let's
just,
get an example.
just
from you.
one word here.
Yeah. Stop. Oh, and you use proper
Stop.
punctuation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And honestly, I kind of made a mistake here. I should probably put more exclamation marks than that. But it's just an example.
It goes to show you that you did pass your year 6 SATs.
I did indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I was to say, if I was to just copy you with the word stop,
Yes.
but I'm going to make it more specific to the show, how would this look?
Oh, I like that a
You
lot.
like the big
I
exclamation
like
mark?
how you've accentuated this exclamation mark as well. It really
I mean,
makes it bold and shows your anger.
Yeah, I mean, should we give it a go? Should we?
Of course.
Stop UEA. Stop UE.
Stop. Stop.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop. Stop. If you had a poll, how would you do it?
Well, if you had a pole, obviously you're going to hold it by that,
Yeah.
and it just allows you to get some extra height.
Stop.
Go on.
It's like the
and,
opposite
yeah,
of me. Opposite of me shoveling snow.
Exactly.
It's important to attempt to make stuff utilising reusable and efficient resources. UEANUS is proud to be an Albert Sustainable Certified production, and we have attempted to reduce our carbon footprint by reusing our props, and all 15 of the crew arrive in one single clown car. But thank you very much for joining us. That sign is very cool.
course.
Yeah, it's perfect. Thank you, James. But that's all we have time for here at UEANUS. Join us next week to discuss rising accommodation prices, a ban on the Hive communal piano, and plans to freeze over the lake to fit a multi-storey car park. As always, thank you to our guest, and thank you for tuning in to us in the studio. We hope you have a great UEA night. Cheers, thank you, and goodbye.